Hey friends, thanks for tuning in. We have a holiday related review today. I have a couple of new things from Tarte and I've been playing with them and I've got some reviews to share. So one of them involves face products. So I've got this, awesome empty box that was filled with these little guys, these little liquid face products. So we're going to be going through that. And then there's a new big eyeshadow palette. It's the Tarte Maneater Nightfall. Okay, we love the look of the outer packaging, don't we? So I'm going to give my take on this stuff. I've already got on my face my Hard Candy Glamouflage. I wear that in Natural. That's the foundation. I have the Full Coverage Concealer in Fair. Yes, we just went for a full coverage look today. I kind of didn't want to distract from the other stuff, so I thought let's go with a nice full coverage base. This was the primer. I've been loving this from The Ordinary, the High Adherence Silicone Primer. So good. Oh, I set on my under eye area with Maybelline Fit Me, and then I put on my butter bronzer in the Sculpting color. This set, I got this from Ulta. It's called Mistletoe Glow Blush Tape and Glow Tape Set. So this was $39 and you're getting 4 small size things. 2 of them are blushes. You're getting the shade Pink and the shade Coral. Yes, we're going to talk about that. Amber Glow for the highlight and also Pearl Glow for the highlight. So these things, this style of packaging, let me just show you how this goes. You got a cap, you're going to pull the cap off, and you've got that sort of mechanism that we know from the Charlotte Tilbury products that a number of other brands have adopted, where you have a literal off and on switch here, so you can turn it to on, you can squeeze this tube, product will come up through the top, you can turn it to off, dab it on so nothing more gets squeezed out, and usually it seems like, even when it is squeezed to off, like there will be just residual extra product there that you can dab on even without fully squeezing more out. There's always some leftover, I feel like. But what I'm noticing with these is that they're really full of air. So I've only used these a handful of times each, It's only been a couple weeks that I've had these products on hand, and look how, I basically pushed out the air, and we've got some product. I would say maybe like a ½ teaspoon of product down here in the bottom. I feel like it's a huge ripoff for $39. And I feel like last year, the kind of cream liquid face set that they put out, remember, it was these Maneater minis, which I absolutely love. We've got a doe foot applicator here, and we've got this liquid product that can just be dabbed on the skin, real easy, blended out. If you got those last year, I wanted to show you this comparison as far as the blushes go. Should have put them directly under each other. But this is the Coral. I want it in close, but I also need to point, so we're going to use the Q-tip. This is the Coral from the Maneater, and this is the shade called Pink from Maneater. This is the shade called Coral from this new Squeezy Tube Blush Tape set, and this is the shade Pink from the new Squeeze Tube Blush Tape set. In my opinion, the Maneater stuff, it still has the glow, but it has more opaque color, and these, they're pretty, but they're more shimmery. The Pink doesn't give an awful lot of color, especially compared to these from last time. I think it was 4 in the pack. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. If you got these last year, if you're still loving them, if you're still using them, if you pick some up in the Ulta sale, remember those products were marked down in the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. If you load it up then, I really don't think this is an essential, but I'm going to put them on for you, don't worry. We're going to end up using both of these blush colors, okay? So I'm going to start in with the pink since it's the lightest shade. We're going to see if we have anything. Yeah, there's still plenty of product just within that spongy tip. So we dab that around a little bit. And again, more glow than color, in my opinion. So I'm taking my Sephora 56 and I'm just dabbing it in. I don't really have any complaints on formula. It feels really, formula-wise, a lot like the Maneater stuff. It's just a different delivery method, and a less colorful option. See, I'm getting a lot of shimmer here, not a ton of pinky color. Like for me, wearing this and only this as my blush would not cut it. Now the Coral's gonna have a little more color. Maybe you're like, well, that's because you're not squeezing enough product out. There was plenty of product there that I dotted on, I promise. Here's the Coral. We're gonna add a little bit of this. Look at that. We're gonna give it even a little streak, so enough's getting on there. Who am I kidding? Nobody's gonna get on me for not applying enough blush. We're gonna blend that in. I'm just dabbing over it. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but these might be just a tinge more resistant to blending than the Maneater. Do they want to just set up a little faster? Has anyone else noticed that? It's not impossible. I just feel like I have to work just a bit harder on it. But that coral, I feel like you can maybe see the color on that one better. It's just a little darker, but I kind of just went right over things. Okay, so just dab it in. Dab it into your heart's content. The color of this highlighter, this Pearl Glow, is really pretty. Man, this one feels so empty. I'm going to take a little swipe of that up high right here. See that? Boom, boom. Again, you're not having to twist and push more product out every time, which makes it even more baffling that this is what that tube's looking like. Basically brand new. Okay, see that pretty glow on top? See, that's nice. I'm not knocking this stuff entirely. I just don't think it's a very good value, and I think these are better. Then we have this Amber Glow. And for this, the other day when I was trying to, you know, make sure I got use out of everything, I thought maybe I'll do a little bit of that for some glow on the forehead. You see that's got a lot more goldeny depth. It's definitely not a bronzer, but it's just, you know, a highlighter with a little more color. And I'll give that to the forehead. Oh, kitten. They're so sweet. Okay, so there we are. Again, we started with an overall full coverage, matte complexion, and when I touch this, like, I'm not feeling super tacky after applying all 4 of these products. So they are relatively lightweight on the skin, I feel. They don't have a real goopiness to them, but for putting on 2 separate blushes, I think it really doesn't look like that much. You know, I see the shimmer, I see a whole lot of glow on my cheeks, but the color is light, not ultra apparent. Highlighter, Pearl Glow, like that, Amber Glow, you know, that worked well, but will probably be the lesser used of the bunch. And yeah, just wanted to share that, guys. It's not a big thumbs up from me on those products. I went and put a little eyeshadow primer on, and now we're going to talk about this Maneater Nightfall. You may recall they put out a black palette that had the same kind of look to it last year, and it was called, I believe, Maneater After Dark. That one got very closely compared to the Wet n Wild Wild Heart palette. This one, let's take a look. We've got a couple of rows of Tarte doing its normal neutral thing, and then they did bring in some color down here in the bottom. We see some blue, we see some deep green, kind of a berry color. We've got a few lighter splashes as well. I really thought I was going to like this one more than I did. I was a little disappointed in some of these shades, like this color. You know, it works into my looks all right, but the plum, I feel like it gets super light in application and kind of like doesn't give you the most full-on color intensity that you would want out of a shade that dark. I kind of get the same experience out of this green called Captivate. I worked it into a look, but I'm not in love with it. Then there's a navy in here. I feel like all those mattes in application end up with a little less intensity than I thought I was gonna see. And then I get up to, like, say some of these shades, and I feel like, gosh, these shimmers that are kind of like textured looking, like they've got the leopard print in them, and there's flakiness. There's a need to really build them up to get an opaque look. This blue right here looks like it should be doing a lot more. Same kind of deal with that, like kind of flaky. Is one thing to apply a light shade and pack on a light shade with your finger, but when you're working with something deeper, I'd really appreciate it if it could be packed on with a brush. And even if it does need to be built up, fine, but needing to apply that with the finger makes me feel really out of control with that product. To be honest with you, I just haven't totally loved my experience with this one. I think there are times where the mattes could have been pretty good, but then you come in with a shimmer that you really struggled with, and it sort of took the look down a notch, you know? So we're going to do a look with this. It's not all doom and gloom. Like, it's not a terrible palette, and I think it looks interesting. Like, at a glance, it feels like they were reaching for some good thoughts, but I just think sometimes with some of these shimmers, it makes it feel kind of out of hand. I'm going to try to get the best look I can get out of this today. I'm going to go up here to Catnap, right here, this Dusty Rose, and start putting that in my crease. I also would appreciate if the palette could fully open, so when you're like using this to apply mascara, you want to get it right under there and not have like the palette under your chin. I love when palettes open up flat. That being said, it is a nice big mirror. Okay, we're getting Catnap in there, no complaints. Light and mid-tone mattes are doing nothing wrong, I feel. And I'm wanting to blend that not just in my crease, but let it go above as well. Also, guys, I don't know if you're keeping up to date with the shorts I've been posting. I've been really trying to be better about that this week. Things I put on TikTok, I'm also putting them on shorts, and I unboxed my Walmart beauty box the other day. Yeah, that's a fun little subscription thing I decided to take part in. Okay, so that's Catnap all blended up. I'm gonna take Sly right next to that, because it feels a little lighter, also matte. And I'm going to kind of blend above that so it just looks like that catnap shade is easing on in to my skin tone really well. Okay, let's go down to a little bit of Passionate down here, this purple. Get a little of that. I'm getting it on my crease brush. Even with crease brush application, I feel like I should get even more intensity than this, but it is building a bit. A little more over here. I'm building this. This is about my third pickup of product. We're trying to get the purple to show. I think you can see some of it. That shade's called Passionate. Next to that is Vixen. That's your berry kind of color. I might layer on a little bit of Vixen. I think I like Vixen a little better with the way it shows up. Okay, I'm going to take a bare brush and just blend around those edges now. Make sure any darkness stays nice and soft. And then I want to take the purple with a flat brush and see if that can be like just a nice plumminess for us. See if I can build it up more than I had in past looks and maybe like it better. Maybe I just need to accept the fact that it's more of a purple and less of a plum, because you can see it there. Really, I'm loading up the brush much more than I did with initial looks, and I think that's helping that product. I think with the shimmers, you want to go a little at a time so you're not overwhelmed by all the flakiness and fallout. But maybe with some of these mattes, you want to apply them with more of a heavy hand. Then on the outermost corner, so we've got that over like half the lid, that purpley shade. We're going to go here to After Dark, this matte navy. And maybe we just put a little bit of that like really in the corner. I like that. Again, my brush is more loaded up than I would think it would need to be, but that's okay. All right, getting that cool bluish thing going there. Trying to have it reach my crease. Yeah, that looks cool. I can tell I missed a little spot right in here, so I'm picking up small pointed, more of the blue. Not letting it cling in there. Okay, did that with the blue. We're still working with mattes. We're still enjoying the mattes pretty much. We did the blue. I'm not absolutely loving the way that blended there, but I wanted to make sure some warmth got into this too. I want to use this terracotta up here called Smolder. A little bit of that on my crease brush and bring that up above. So far, we're looking at the kind of look you could get with the Viseart Neutral Mattes Malo palette. To me, it seems as though the more of the issue I've had with this has involved the shimmers. When you add that into maybe a matte look that has been fairly decent for you, it kind of colors just the whole look. I really like to use some of this, but I know that's kind of a hard shade. Maybe a little bit of Wild. It seems like it would be smoother. Let's take a little bit of that on a little bit smaller brush. Adding some of that on. Kind of murky. Giving some blue. I don't want to totally cover up the purple I had going on the outer corner, but maybe we have now. More purple. Layering on just a little more purple there, okay? And then further inward, let's try a little bit of this shade called Pamper, this peachy golden looking color. Again, I don't love the way those are picking up with the brush. There we go. I'm getting a lot of fallout that I can just see flying past my eye, but I loaded up the brush a lot. So it's kind of like, if you load up your brush more with some of these shimmers, yeah, you're gonna see some fallout, but you may see it building up more effectively on the eyes. Oh, there's just so much coming down. I'm trying to get that peachy goodness. I want it to look like this side, but letting it overlap a bit, come this way. Let's try to dust away some of this fallout. There's a lot This is probably the best look I have done. I think I just went for it harder with those mattes, and I like the color scheme I got into here. I like the bluish purpliness. Even if some purple kind of got lost in the shuffle here, I like that look blending with the warmth. And then the shimmer coming in. I'm gonna do this again today. I'm gonna take my cold brew stick from Hard Candy. I did this the other day too, and it kind of worked across my upper lash line with the colors I used yesterday. I'm gonna take it down here. It lasts so well. It's so nice to like have that look of eyeshadow on the lower lash line, but not have to worry about it smudging and smearing away. Cold brew and pony if you like something a little cooler, more like taupey, little bit of purple in it. It's a nice one. Okay, that, my friends, is my eyeshadow look. I think it's just a kind of a hit and miss feeling palette for me. I think what I learned in really trying to go for it with the deeper mattes is don't be afraid to load up your brush, because you will see those colors more intensely if you do. This is purple, it is not plum. So it may not be as deep and dark as a person who glances at this palette thinks it's going to be. But a lot of these shimmers, I mean, here we're getting downright like a glitter basically. There's a lot of fallout with that. They're ultimately like pretty colors that were included, but just so much more flaky compared to the shimmers you're going to see in like one of the Tartelette palettes, like let's say Tartelette in Bloom or Tartelette Toasted. Any of that stuff, I feel like maybe they just toned it down a little bit, but they were nice, soft, like easy to work with shades, kind of like, you know, Frisky in here. There's a nice, soft, smooth one. My main problem is with some of the shades that have that little like textured stamp in it. I would like to do a look that involves more of Nightfall right here, because I think there's potential in that shade. It's really dark, but I feel like it could make a pretty look, maybe even paired with those other two shades I just swatched there, like a little bit of copper and a little bit of gold. It's not a bad palette, but it's kind of like hit and miss frustrating, I think, for me. And that's just my opinion. I know that we're hitting that season where I think you can afford to be picky, because I think a lot of things will be coming out, and there will surely be some things that connect with me just a little bit more than this. So yeah, maybe I am being kind of picky with it. There's been many a time where I've picked up a palette and I've had a 100% happy and good experience using every part of it. I can still see fallout that was not able to be fully like dusted away here, but I do like the color combo. So I'm going to finish off the eye and the lips so you can see a total look, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, here's my finished look. I did not do eyeliner. I just wanted to, you know, let the eyeshadow be there. So I have on Superhero mascara. Yeah, nice to see that old friend again. I put Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water on the lower lashes. I forgot to do this little step, so I'm going to do it now. My Kosas Cloud Set. See, this just does something right here on top of the cheek. Just hit that T-zone area. Yeah, it just perfects a little bit more. And I felt like a bright lip today. I didn't really even care if a bright lip went with this look, but I just went with it. I filled in with this Hard Candy lip liner in Summer Fling. And then on top of that, I put the Lip Melt from Hard Candy in Forever Ever. That's the kind of thing that's like a Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. It's got a little cooling sensation on there. It looks so good. So yeah, guys, just wanted to share my 2 cents on, again, this face set from Tarte with the glow tapes and the blush tapes, and also this Maneater Nightfall palette. I would say neither one is a home run for me. Neither one is giving me like, oh, I'm so glad I bought it types of vibes, or that I would totally recommend it. And the palette is not total dud status. It's a big palette. It's, I think, a nicely thought out color scheme, but I think the execution is just not there with all those shimmers and with the mattes. They're not little goes a long way mattes. They're not like dipping into an ABH palette kind of matte experiences, or Viseart, or heck, even ColourPop's mattes. Like, I felt the need to really kind of go in with a heavy hand in order to get something I could really see and sink my teeth into, you know? So, not in love, but we share the ups and the downs here, don't we? So, thank you for watching. I hope this was useful. I would love to hear your takes and your impressions on these products in the comments, and I will see you guys again very soon. I love you. Bye.